The Ukraine-Russia war is nowhere near getting resolved. Ukrainian losses are piling up as Russia continues to wreak havoc. They're undoubtedly outmatched against the technologically superior enemy. But with military support pouring in from all over the world, the country is standing its ground. The recent shipment from Washington has certainly helped the cause. Previously, the country was using Soviet artillery. Other than Ukraine's dependence on Russia for its weaponry, these guns were outdated and inaccurate. These included the M777, Hyacinth, Pion, Acacia, and Gvazdika. But with NATO's support pouring in, Ukrainian artillery presents a whole different picture. Most recently, the United States supplied them with the M777 lightweight towed howitzers, which are the latest and most updated versions of the gun. Can the gun really make a difference on the battlefield for Ukraine? Well, for starters, the M777 is a 155mm 39 caliber towed gun. The use of titanium aluminum alloys in its construction makes it the gun ideal for rapidly deployable and accurate artillery support. Though the use of titanium does drive up the cost, around $4 million. But it's worth paying in the end. The chunky machines of titanium and steel are set up on 4 braces that fold up and down. Not to mention that the M777 is the world's first millimeter howitzer. It's got a better range and accuracy than the 1970s Soviet-era 2A65 Mr. B towed artillery piece that Ukraine is currently using on the battlefield. The 2A65 uses a 152mm round, making the 155mm round a definite upgrade. What's more, the 155mm shell is adaptable compared to its predecessor. The Army can make good use of the shell in different ways. There's a baseline explosive fragmentary, along with illumination, smoke, and extended range. These shells also come with different fuse types: delay, airburst, and point detonating. As far as range is concerned, the gun can take down targets at least 18 miles away. That's 24.7 kilometers with unassisted rounds and 30 kilometers with rocket-assisted rounds. With the highly accurate digital computer fire control operation in place, locating said targets is a breeze. The system uses GPS and drones as its eyes on the ground. In addition to the ordinary shells, the howitzer also fires the super-accurate M982X caliber shell that can inflict serious damage with aerodynamic rudders at their front end that fold out after being fired. These rudders can also change the trajectory of the ammunition to a large extent. As far as range is concerned, these projectiles can go as far as 40 kilometers. What's more, the projectile is fitted with an inertial guidance system in the middle section of the trajectory and a Navstar satellite navigation correction system in the terminal section, which is why the circular deviation is no more than 10 meters. From what we've observed of the gun working in Iraq, the shell falls no more than 4 meters away from its target. Considering how a tank is no more than 4 meters in length and how each shell packs more than 50 high-quality explosives, each shot will be fatal for a tank. Moving towards firing speed, Ukrainian soldiers can fire 2 shots per minute for an extended period of time. What sets the gun apart is that it's incredibly lightweight. It weighs less than 10,000 pounds, making transport by truck or helicopter that much easier. Other transport options include being towed by a 4x4 vehicle with air brakes. In comparison, the Russian 152mm towed M777 howitzer weighs over twice as much, 16,000 pounds. The light weight makes the gun perfect for the Ukrainian battlefield, where soldiers need to quickly change positions after firing the first shot, unless they want to be blown away by the Grad multiple rocket launchers the Russians like to use so much. Any 2.5-ton truck like the Chevy Silverado will get the job done. What's even more impressive is that the M777 can deliver the same firepower as most 155mm towed systems today, even though it's half the size. The towed road speed is 88 kilometers per hour. and as for the towed cross-country speed, that's 50 kilometers per hour. The towing ground clearance is up to 660 millimeters. The 39-barrel fitted to the howitzer has a muzzle velocity of 827 meters per second. With that said, things would have been different if the US had donated the self-propelled M109A7 Paladin. The Ukrainians would have to use railroads or asphalt roads because of the Caterpillar tack for transport. Overall, BAE Systems, the company behind the gun, has certainly done a good job designing the gun. But it wasn't all of them. The Horseman Defense Systems of the United Kingdom supplied the Hydrostrut suspension system. Ukraine received the first shipment of the guns on April 20th. This is part of the $800 million assistance package that the United States promised Ukraine. As a show of goodwill, American troops will be training at least 50 Ukrainian artillery officers and non-commissioned officers who can go back home and pass on what they learned to other Ukrainian soldiers. The more, the merrier, because operating the M777 American Howitzer is not a one-man job. 8 soldiers are needed to fire the 35-foot-long gun. An experienced crew could essentially shoot 5 rounds per minute, the maximum for the gun. They could set up the gun in 6 minutes if they've got the necessary practice. Training isn't just essential to get the gun working smoothly. If the Ukraine army wants to take down Russian troops, they'll also need to get a hang of the digital operating system. Hopefully, the US will be covering all of it. So far, 370 Ukrainian soldiers have been trained to operate the howitzer on the US Army's Grafenwohr route in Germany. It's rumored that another 50 specialists are also in training or have already completed the 2-week course on weapon maintenance. What's more, Ukraine's 92nd Mechanized and 81st Air Mobile Brigades are believed to be the first recipients of the shipment. Both of these units are currently active in northwestern Ukraine. Training soldiers for the 90 guns that Ukraine is bound to receive will take a little longer. Not only is the US providing Ukraine with training, but they're also giving them more ammunition than needed. The US has provided the war-ridden country with 40,000 rounds of ammunition. That's definitely going to help out the army for a very long time. Still, things could be a whole lot better if the United States decides to supply Ukraine with a laser-guided M712 Copperhead or the GPS-guided M982 Excalibur. But it doesn't seem like that will ever happen. Arming Ukraine with better weapons remains a sensitive issue. The United States, along with Slovakia, France, and other Western nations, have been doing a good job of providing Ukraine with artillery support so far. But Russia has been accusing them of fighting a proxy war in Ukraine and is threatening them with unspecified consequences if the aid to Ukraine continues. France, Germany, and Italy seem to think that arming Ukraine with even more powerful weapons will put a negotiated end to the war. France has promised Caesar truck-mounted howitzers to the country that are capable of firing in a shoot-and-scoot maneuver. Slovakia has agreed to provide Ukraine with howitzers. But President Volodymyr Zelensky doesn't want that. He said that a diplomatic solution would come only after the Ukraine army had inflicted multiple setbacks on Russia. Even so, the M777 American howitzers are a pretty good deal. The 155mm are the most lethal weapons the West has provided so far to Ukraine. Since their deployment, 1,976 rounds have been fired, according to Ukrainian officials. The guns have helped the army take down 3 armored vehicles and Russian soldiers' fatalities. Commander of the 55th Artillery Brigade, the first unit to deploy the gun, Colonel Roman Kachur, said that the weapon brings us that much closer to victory. He also added that with every modern weapon, every precise weapon, we get closer to victory. According to Kachur, the howitzers will be used to double down on Russian positions, command posts, and ammunition depots. The colonel also plans to save civilian lives by taking out Russian artillery targeting their towns. But from the looks of things, it seems like it'll take a whole lot more to get the Russian army back down. The director of Russian studies at CNA, a research institute located in Arlington, Michael Kaufman, said that the artillery is very much the business of quantity, and the Russian army is one of the largest artillery armies you can face. Still, military analysts think we'll see an effect of the howitzers in 2 weeks when Ukraine has enough soldiers operating the guns. Right now, they've only got a dozen of them deployed at the front. The Ukrainian army has been doing well for itself so far. They've managed to repel Russian troops from Kharkiv and Kyiv, but the pressure is on in the Donbas region in eastern Ukraine. These guns have certainly given Ukraine the upper hand on Russia, proving to be a key step forward in a war being fought on flat, open grounds at long ranges. Russia will definitely have a hard time taking them down because their small size and supersonic speed make them virtually invulnerable. And that's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Ukraine's chances with this gun and their artillery? Let us know in the comment section below. We'll catch you next time with another video. Bye now!